What we're going to do this evening is we're going to have an esteemed introduction to some very, very important, very impactful people in the environmental programs. So I would like to, without further ado, go ahead and welcome any special guests that we have. Thank you all so much. I see we've got Dr. Yu in the house. We've got the phenomenal Shaniqua Rose standing by. We've got my good friend Jan Boer. And of course, the illustrious, who I will be introducing her not too far from now, Miss Lawana Gelzer. But for right now, if you could just sit tight and tune in to this short video on air pollution.
Air pollution. It lurks all around us, preying on the young and old. It slips unnoticed past your defenses and assaults your lungs, heart, and brain. Its deadliest weapons are invisible, poisonous particles that can be as small as a molecule. With every breath, they break through your lungs' protective barriers. There, they trigger inflammation as your system tries desperately to fight back. But these tiny intruders penetrate those defenses, lodging toxic compounds even deeper, sowing the seeds of cancer. They slide straight into your bloodstream, sabotaging your entire body. They inflame and constrict your blood vessels, increasing blood pressure until, one day, causing a stroke. The particle prowlers dislodge fatty plaque that may have built up from your diet. They weave clots that can be deadly blockers of blood flow to your heart or brain. With each new case of heart attack, stroke, lung disease, or cancer, air pollution adds another life to its hit list. Let's stop this invisible killer.
And that was quite informative. And as we all do breathe the same air on the same earth, hopefully we're taking that just as seriously amongst each other. Without further ado, everyone, I would like to introduce you to none other than the EPA grant project manager herself, an esteemed young lady who I am proud to say is a good friend of mine and a colleague. I'd like to welcome to the platform the one and only Lawana Gelzer. Hey, Lawana, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you, Vince, and thank you for everyone for joining us today. It's a great pleasure to launch our EPA grant. Officially, we were awarded an environmental justice grant October 1st of 2020, and it's helping lower income families identify and address hazardous air pollutions that impact their health. And at this time, I want to introduce the EPA team, Dr. Wanda Jones, who's our citizen science and educational supervisor. Also, Janice, we call her Jan Boomer, data analyst, reporting and control manager, and Shaniqua Rose, who's our civic outreach manager. Later on in the presentation, you'll hear from each one of them, but I wanted everybody to know that this is a collective effort through the Coalition of 100 Black Women. We applied for this February of this year, 2020, and we were awarded an environmental justice grant. So I say kudos to the work that we've been doing in our community, and it's great to be a recipient of this grant. And at this time, the purpose of this community forum is to launch and let everybody know for the next 2 years what we're going to be doing in the community when it comes to air quality and pollution in our communities. And the 3 communities that I will highlight, that we're highlighting, is the Paramount community, the Holden Heights community, and the Mercy Drive community. And at this time, we have some of our partners on the line, and I want to give them the opportunity, because we did reach out to quite a few people to participate, and we have our partners on the line, and our first partner is Dr. Wanda Jones.
So I will be overseeing the citizen science portion of this. Citizen science has actually become a very important up and coming aspect of doing scientific research that is being utilized actually around the globe. And so the citizen science portion will involve people within the communities of Mercy Drive, Paramore, Holden Heights that I'll refer to as our study communities from this point on, and anybody else who's interested just in learning more about how to conduct a scientific study, interested in understanding a bit more about the air quality in portions of Orlando that you may live in or you may not live in, because this is all applicable, although the focus is in a specific area in Orlando. This information is applicable actually all around the city, all around the county, in all honesty, all around the country and the world, especially with climate change happening. It has a huge impact on air quality. So all of that will be covered in some of our workshops and the educational workshops we'll be doing. So first portion of the study is the pre and post surveys to gather information regarding the various aspects about air quality. So one of the things we want to know, we want to get some baseline information about what types of respiratory conditions people have experienced in these areas, what is their recollection of traffic, a number of different questions and parameters that we will focus on in order to gather essential information to help us as we're putting, as we are doing the study and putting our findings together at the end. That will be information that will help us with our results and drawing our conclusions, to have a bit of background information with the pre-surveys. Post-surveys will also include information that from revisiting some of the questions from the pre-survey and any other questions that have come up during the course of the field study to find out more information about that from the residents who live in those areas. So those will be the air quality surveys. The air quality study is the portion where we will be doing scientific, collecting data using scientific methods and looking at the various parameters and documenting aspects and parameters of air quality and air pollution. There's the slide that Ms. Gelser had up initially that was showing the different particulate matter. Those are the parameters that we're going to be looking at. And I know that looked like a whole lot. Looks like a lot, which to a person who does air quality, this is the norm. These are various parameters that are just commonly looked at when it comes to air quality. So these are the different bits of data that we will be collecting. Last part is the air quality education workshop. So we'll be doing community education workshops during the 2-year study because it's important to increase residents' awareness, first of all, of air quality and air pollution issues and how it impacts their health. And with awareness, then we will give them additional information to increase their knowledge about how it's impacting them, how it's impacting their families, how it's impacting the health of everyone, and what can they do in order to protect themselves from air pollution or to mediate the type of air pollution that they're being exposed to. How can they improve the air quality in their neighborhood and in their homes? Because we have a lot of our communities, just in Florida in general, but in Orlando, especially our African American communities, we have a lot of seniors, and seniors and young children are frequently heavily impacted by air quality. And so it's going to be important for the residents to have quite a bit of knowledge so that they are informed about what they need to do in order to keep themselves and their families healthy. So our community education workshops will focus on that. And also, as we finish the study, focus on updating everybody on the findings of the study once we have completed the study.
Thank you. Next partner is the University of Central Florida, Dr. Yu. Are you available to speak about? It was just wonderful you to partner with us on this.
Thanks. I mean, it's a great honor to be part of this exciting project. So my name is Hafei Yu. I am assistant professor of environmental engineering at UCF. My research area is on actual outdoor air quality. So thank you very much for letting me be part of this project. Oh, by the way, we also have our team consists of 5 different professors from 3 different institutions. We also have Kelly Stevens on the line. Kelly is assistant professor at UCF in School of Public Admin. So, okay, we also have 3 other team members who can be here because of duties. We have Thomas Breyer in School at Public Admin. We have Xinwen Fu from University of Massachusetts Law, and Daliang Fan from Arizona State University. So we actually, we work with Wanda from, I think about a year ago. Our project is, as you can tell from the slides, is we are funded by National Science Foundation. So we plan to install up to 100 sensors at Orlando. And we also have a huge community outreach and public citizen science component in there. So Kelly, would you mind introduce briefly about our community outreach effort?
Sure. Thanks again for having us. We're all very excited to be involved with this project. So I just wanted to give you a little more background about the NSF project that we're working on at UCF and how that complements the work that is happening here from the EPA grant. So we're, as Dr. Yu had mentioned, we're trying to install 100 low-cost air quality sensors throughout Orlando. We hope to be installing them by the spring. We had a few delays because of COVID and getting outreach to neighborhoods and stuff like that, but we hope to be out in the community soon with these air quality sensors. There's a picture on our slide that shows kind of what they look like. They're not very large, they're pretty small. They will not be connected to any power sources. They have a solar panel attached to them, so they'll be self-powered. And so they'll be typically on utility poles in communities that volunteer and would like to be involved in our project. So they will not cost you anything or anything like that. So we're looking for more neighborhoods to join our project though. So we definitely are going to have sensors in these 3 neighborhoods, the Paramore, Holden Heights, and Mercy Drive. If you're affiliated with another neighborhood, we're interested in maybe installing air quality sensors in your neighborhood well. And if you're interested in having one of these sensors outside your house, please let us know and we'd be happy to try to put something up there and help us monitor the air quality in your neighborhood in downtown Orlando. So we're also looking for people to work closely with us, kind of similar to this study, a focus group where we're working closely with you to kind of help share the data, understand what the data says, how to read the data, and how to make decisions based on what the data shows us. So we want to, we're trying to recruit focus group members as well in these neighborhoods with the sensors. So we also have research or stipends available for the focus group members and for the neighborhoods that participate in this study. So if you're interested in joining our study and having a sensor in your neighborhood, please send us an email. I'll provide the email. It's on the slide here, but I'll send it out through the group chat as well. We're at airquality@ucf.edu. And you can also check out our website. This is where we have some of those videos that Jan mentioned earlier, explaining our project a little bit more and explaining the importance of air quality and the impact of particulate matter, fine particulate matter. And we're also measuring carbon dioxide in our project, which is a greenhouse gas and very important to understand what those levels look like as well. So again, if you're interested in joining, having a sensor in your neighborhood, being part of our focus group, please send us a note. We're looking for neighborhoods now, so we can hopefully get these out in the neighborhoods soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to have you as a partner. Community Empowerment Project is an organization that I'm a member of. Miss Betty, my mom, is the individual who is from the Paramore community. And one thing we decided to do when we partnered was they needed a community partner, and we entitled Miss Betty Equity Lending Library, where we're going to have tablets that will be lent out. We're also going to have other things that will be available. I'm looking for that. So it's a lot of things, but we were part of the lending library, which will have equipment that people can check out located at the Peebo Child Care Center that's been a fixture of the community for over 42 years. And Miss Betty has allowed us to utilize a room there so we can keep equipment there and store equipment that we need. So that's why we entitled it the Miss Betty Equity Lending Library. And the final partner is Jan. You ready?
Sure. My name is Jan Boer. I serve as the Director of Unitarian Universalist Justice Florida's Climate Resilience Ministry. And we work to build resilience in low-income communities in Florida. We work on building community with inclusive dialogue and planning and action and educating about how to protect health and safety, and providing technical support to exceptional community leaders like you have in these 3 communities. So I also serve as the director of community resilience development for Resilient American Communities. And I serve as an external research coordinator for FAU's Center for Environmental Studies. And also I provide leadership for the Florida Interfaith Climate Actions Network and for the Florida Disaster Resilience Initiative. But this is my 3rd EPA environmental justice grant that I have been engaged with in Florida. And it is an absolute joy to be able to work here in Paramore, Holden Heights, and Mercy Drive with exceptional environmental justice leaders on these really important issues of air pollution and respiratory health. So it's a big concern here. So it's a big concern everywhere. I'm serving as a data analyst and reporting and control manager for this project.
Next, because we are recording this and we're going to do a production and send this out to our funders, the EPA, but more so for people to know what we're doing due to COVID and how we had to have a community meeting and why we went virtual. But at this time, Jan is going to go over the timeline and the overview of the grant. And after that, if there's any questions, please put them in the chat room. And so, Shaniqua, you could be monitoring that to see, we'll be ready to go to see if there's any questions at this particular time. So let's go over the timeline and the overview.
Certainly. So there will be, and not included in this yet, opportunities for some of the programming that will be offered through the Dr. Yu's work at the university. So this is what we have with the EPA. So the name of our grant is called Help Low-Income Families Identify and Address Hazardous Air Pollutants That Impact Health. And so our objectives are to mitigate that negative health impact of the air pollution and to promote citizen science and open dialogue, information sharing, and a healthy environment. And the Miss Betty's Equity Lending Library is available to residents of Paramore, Holden Heights, and Mercy Drive. And this will enable people to use indoor air quality monitors, pulse oximeters, and tablets when we're doing data gathering. We're concerned about bridging the digital divide, and Miss Betty's Equity Lending Library is a big step in that direction. So in our timeline, we have 2 surveys that are going to be taking place, and the first survey cycle will begin in January. Now, there are opportunities for residents to get engaged. So there will be 2 survey teams and a citizen science team made up of residents who will receive stipends for their work. And if you would like to get involved on the survey team or in the citizen science team, I'm going to put a link for you to use to sign up and I'll put it in the chat window when we're all finished, or you can use the link at the end of this slide presentation when you receive it by email after this meeting. But the first survey cycle is going to start in January, and the survey team will be trained in that first week of January. They will learn how to speak about air quality and how it can affect health, learn how to do data entry and data stewardship. And that's where we're sure that we keep the data from going from one person to the next person, where however it's supposed to go, we know at all times where it went. And because it will be January and there just will still be in COVID time, everyone will learn how to conduct a COVID safe survey. And so the first survey will be completed in March, and we will have a survey results meeting. And that's where we'll present and discuss the results. And at that time, we'll fill any open positions on the citizen science team. And the citizen science team training will take place in mid-May. And the team will be trained on what the air pollutants are that are going to be measured, the sampling techniques and protocols, as well as data stewardship. And outdoor air quality monitoring will take place from June through mid-November. And then in early March of 2022, There will be an air quality results meeting to present the results of the air quality monitoring, and a communications plan will be created. And that will be the way that we will inform residents about the results. And we'll execute that communications plan from April through June. And that's to help residents understand where we found high concentrations and if it's correlated with temperature or humidity. And in the timeline, we then have our second survey, and the trainings for the second survey will take place in June and July. The survey team will learn to speak to residents about actions they can take to reduce exposure to air pollutants, as well as learning about data entry and data stewardship, and being able to speak to people about the results that we have had. The second survey is going to be completed at the end of August, and the final report, including information that will support advocacy, will be submitted to the EPA Environmental Justice Office at the end of September of 2022. So it's a 2-year program. And so I hope you all are thinking about how you might be able to engage. We very much want participation from the community. And I think that it'll be a wonderful learning experience for everyone. Thank you. Oh, I should mention, particulate matter has been linked to COVID-19. This was from the Harvard study. A small increase in long-term exposure to particulate matter that's 2.5 microns leads to a large increase in COVID-19 death rate. The information is here. And so if you have lived for a long time in a community that has elevated particulate matter, and it has worked, the particulate matter may have gotten deeply into your lungs, then we have more negative outcomes for COVID-19. So it's a very important reason for us to be very vigilant with our mask wearing and our social distancing. And because this is COVID related, the COVID dashboard that we have for work in the community through the Resilient American Communities is carrying the environmental justice air quality events. We also have a link to UCF's Air Quality Orlando videos. And if you would, there's also a location here where you can click through and sign up for anything that you would like to do in the way of engagement. The link down here at the bottom will take you to this particular page, and you will be receiving, again, this PowerPoint after we're finished here this evening via email.
Well, at this time, you know, a lot of just what's going on, we have to give a special thanks to one of our community partners, and that's 32805 ORL News. David Porter, I just wanted to make sure you wanted to say anything about what's going on, where the information is going to be held. We gave you an opportunity to speak, but you're on mute. If you're going to talk, unmute yourself.
So thank you very much. This has been very instructive, and it's just like, you know, Dr. Jones said, and so this is very exciting. I mean, you know, I've been in Orlando since 1984. I've never heard something like this happening in the African American communities. I just want you to know that I run 32805 orlnews.com. So that is a news site that covers the west side of Orlando. It really covers urban Orlando, communities that don't get a lot of coverage. And so this is something that an issue that I've worked for a long time with both Luana and Dr. Jones on this issue of environmental justice in our communities. So going forward, for a lot of updates, you'll be able to find a lot of updated information at 32805orlnews.com. And we also have a Facebook page. It's 32805 ORL News. So many of you, hopefully some of you saw the videos we put out to promote this event. And again, we hope to keep people informed throughout the course of this project. It's very exciting. So thanks for letting me be involved in it. Thank you, everybody.
David, thank you for being a part, because I just want to say a special thanks to some of the members that are on from the Coalition of 100 Black Women. Believe it or not, Dr. Jones is a member, I'm a member, and Shaniqua is a member. So 3 of the members of the EPA grant team is a part of the Coalition of 100 Black Women. But I just want everybody to know this, kudos to Jan. She's not going to do it, but there was a map up that we found that there were 6 projects funded in the by the EPA in the state of Florida, and 3 of them are being managed, or Jan was a part of it. So I just want to say, way to go, Jan, to everybody. 6 and 50% of them, she's working with us. That's great to have that type of knowledge on your team. So at this point, we're coming about to wrap it up. We read a lot of the questions. We want to do a call to action. Call to action, everybody. It's simple. Get involved. Below, we're going to send you out the emails. You'll see the links as far as the project timeline, but opportunities to get involved. We are partnering with other organizations to do other surveying, COVID training, as far as tracking. We're overlapping, but working within our communities and our funding to make sure that air pollution, proper air quality is something that we deserve to have in our community. So I plead with you each to get involved, share this information, share this video, share it. Just let everybody know we're here. This is a 2-year project, and we need each and every one of you to help us get the word out. And so at the end of this, there is opportunities you can check for the polling, but just do a poll to check. If you don't have my email address, there it is. If you need to reach me, there's the phone number. But we want to say we're launching our EPA grant. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve, and we need each and every one of you to understand how important it is, because one thing I see that one thing that David reminded us, come January 2021, the Huffington Post did a story on the air quality in the Paramore community, and we were promised a health disparity study from the city of Orlando, and this year it has not been funded. I've watched the budget over and over again, but this EPA Environmental Justice Grant validates that there is some air quality problems in the urban community that we've been talking about over the years. So we have got a lot of work to do. So I want everybody, if you want to participate, please join us. Please make sure you put your information in the chat room. And please, please get involved.